Hey, you're watching Driver 88. So you may be wondering today, what does it take to get a brand new allocation for a Ferrari F80? Well, for the last 5 years on our channel, we've been following my mate's Ferrari collection, and that journey has started 15 years ago, and we've had this exciting news and received a very special carbon box to say that an F80 will be joining this spectacular collection. So what I thought I would do was go through the entire last 15 years of this collection, every single car, every V12, every race car, every limited car, and give you a bit of an idea of what it takes to be in that sort of hallowed ground of getting the brand new hypercar from Ferrari. So the journey with this Ferrari collection started in 2011 with a standard production car, the Ferrari FF, which came out almost 14, 15 years ago. And throughout that time, there's been a number of standard production cars of Ferrari that I haven't got on this list, but throughout the time we've had a number of them, including the Pure Sangue, which has just recently joined the collection. Also, a very beautiful balloon white GTC Forluso V12, a high-spec Ferrari Roma, and as I said, a few other cars that I probably have missed, like a 488 and a number of other things that are used regularly. Now, the Pure Sangue, of course, gets a fair bit of slack for being an SUV, but as I can tell you from being lucky enough to go with Ferrari on a ski trip in New Zealand and drift these through the snow, see a whole bunch of them used in different environments. Just think of it, I guess, if you're a Ferrari collector, as a better technology, more power, more usability GTC Forluso. That's really all it is. It makes kind of sense when you think of it that way. Now, we have more production cars, more V8s to the right of me, also a brand new one to the collection. This thing we have looked at before, it's SF90 Spider. This is an enormous spec car. Every single option you could possibly imagine. I think it turned out to be like something like $1.5 million Australian. You got the painted shields, the carbon wheels built right here in Australia, just a monster spec, and also incredible performance in a straight line, but of course, day-legal. On top of that, we have the brand new, just delivered this week, 296 GTS. Again, a standard sort of production car, if you can call it standard, with 819 horsepower. Daytona seats. I'm a huge fan of TDF blue. TDF blue against yellow calipers, perfect. I love blue and yellow together. This car, Daytona seats, cream interior, just a lovely spec. I'm a big fan of the 296 myself, just because it still has a super high revving, nice sounding V6, and I think it looks quite elegant, as well as being a hark back to the old racing car, the 250 LM. Now we have even more V8 cars, rear engine cars in the collection. So we've had a Pista on the channel, which we also, a few years ago, did some cheeky things by tuning it and putting an exhaust on it and making it over 800 horsepower. Also in the collection, a Pista Pilotti. So a limited, very, very rare car, very, very good looking thing, the Pilotti. Now, let's move on to some bigger things, maybe some V12s. These are personally two of my favorite cars in this collection. The A12 Competizione Aperta, huge, huge spec. Carbon wheels, the satin paint, again with the painted shields on the side, just an enormous spec. This one with the carbon roof. We were here for the delivery of this car. Beautiful. I mean, you can't ask for much more than 9,500 RPM. The TDF, I think this is aged so incredibly well, the TDF, and that is, I think, shown in how much the values have increased so much. This car is just minty. It's won a few awards in the concours recently because it's just been, clean to perfection. The muscular stance, the two of them look similar but different enough to have their own value, I think, in their aesthetics. Speaking of aesthetics, I love this little design piece here, the vents a la 275 GTB. These cars are just fantastic. I love them so much. On top of that, there has been an 812 Superfast in the collection prior. That's the V12s. Let's head to the race cars. One of the things that people often don't think about is how to get yourself up that Ferrari chain is purchasing race cars and being a part of the Corso Clienti and basically competing against other Ferrari owners. So we've got at least 3 race cars in this collection. First, the 488 Challenge Evo. We've also got a 488 GT3 car, which we've had the pleasure of filming and having at the Bend. And then most recently, the 296 Challenge car, which looks utterly incredible. Not a hybrid anymore, but still 700 PS, huge 280 front section tires. Beautiful thing in TDF blue again. So that's just 3 of the race cars in the collection. So we start to take things up a notch now. Now every collection or person that's getting an F80 allocation, of course, doesn't have the same journey, might not have the same amount of cars, less or more or different types. There's a whole bunch of factors. So this is not like a concrete sort of thing that we're showing here, but we love to show you all these incredible cars because it's a lot of fun to film. The Daytona SP3. Now with the F80 being a twin turbo hybrid V6, this thing becomes all the more special, not just because of its carbon body, carbon shell, sorry, and the fact that you can take the roof off and you have a rear-engined V12, arguably the last ever Ferrari V12 that's rear-engined. These looks, I think, have grown on people so much. Initially, when it came out, people were a little bit unsure, but now they respect the fact that it's its own shape, it's its own thing. I'll show you a startup of that car right now. Now there's one thing that Ferrari collectors often do when they're trying to build up their, I guess, resume to try and get these new hypercars is going back and buying older ones. And that is what has happened with this. We were lucky enough to see the delivery of this Ferrari Enzo. I was never a big fan of the looks when it sort of came out and I was a lot younger, but seeing it in person, particularly the side profile, it's just legendary in its aesthetics. It sounds utterly devastating in its cold starts. I've jumped in this thing and cold started it before. Very low kilometers. I mean, what can you say? It's an Enzo, right? It's one of the big, now 6 cars in the collection. One bonus car, one really special old thing. Just have a look at this. This is something truly special and classic. So another inclusion into the collection this week. That's 3 cars in the last week. Utterly incredible visually. This is the Ferrari 250 TR Testarossa, an incredibly famous race car of Ferraris. This model in its time, there was only 33 of them built. Won Le Mans 3 times, won Sebring 3 times. This car is a reproduction. It originally was a 250 GTE, but we still have the 3-litre Colombo V12 making 300 horsepower. The car itself is just incredible to look at, obviously, but only weighs 800 kilos for 300 horsepower. So as you can imagine, given how short the wheelbase is, it's properly fast. It sounds incredible, and it's probably one of the prettiest Ferraris I've ever seen. The 250 GTO, it has all the provenance and racing and the high prices and stuff. I think this is a far prettier car than those with the roof off, and it has a far prettier nose and face, I think. Just an incredible looking machine, and this is road registered. So the owner does use it a fair bit recently. It's just incredible to see on the streets, and we'll start it up for you now and have a look inside. So that is the whole collection. We've probably missed out on a few cars throughout the 15-year journey, but something around the bouts of 40 million Australian dollars worth in that time period. We've also got, coming to this collection, an SF90XX Aperta, all blacked out. It's going to look incredibly hot. The F80 spec, we're not exactly sure yet, but we'll be letting you know in the coming months and reveal that car to you hopefully within the next year. So this is Driver 88. We'll see you next time.